I just want to ask right away, so that I just want to ask, which do you prefer, Bolt or Uber? And if you say which one you prefer, you tell us why.
Okay. I would say both.
So welcome to another episode
All right.
of Brand or BS. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing brand positioning. Now, I'm very sure by now you should be asking yourself, is my business, are we branding or are we just BSing? And I hope you're on your way to branding if you've not already started. Now, today, to help us understand what brand position is all about, we have George, an amazing creative in our midst today. And being this is his first time of being on Brand Talk, we're going to let him introduce himself. So please, George, tell us about yourself.
All right. Thank you again for inviting me today. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be on Brand Talk. And I've been following just allow me to just say a few words here. I've been following the series for a while now. It's been very insightful, and I've learned a couple of things even before the brand and the BS series. And I just want to say it's a privilege to be on here finally. To share the little that I know. So yeah, my name is George Laleye, and I'm a graphic designer, or right now I'm the brand identity designer, founder of Mage Branding and Design. Mage is relatively new. Founded Mage in 2019, although I've been offering design services for way longer than that, in 2017. So um, the journey has been great so far, and we're still growing and learning. I'm grateful for people like IK here who are expanding the knowledge community of branding, creating more awareness for business people out there. So this is a good opportunity. Thank you again.
Well, thank you for coming here. Like, we would like to also appreciate you for at least being here, because it's one thing being out there doing what you love, is another thing to like want to share with other people. Like, okay, this is my own opinion, or this is my experience, or this is the information I have to share with you. So we appreciate you for being here, and we feel like it's an honor having you follow us, like follow our episode all this while. Like, it's great. All right. So I just want to ask right away, so that I just want to ask, which do you prefer, Bolt or Uber? And if you say which one you prefer, you tell us why.
Okay. I would say both. Why? I think, in my experience, I think both has offered lesser prices.
Okay.
And then at first, Uber, from what I gathered from people, and then I think I stopped using Uber quite a while ago. But from what I gathered from other users, at first Uber, had this perception of the more premium brand, but
Yeah.
then the kind of riders that you know would now end up picking you up, when you order from, maybe a top tier of their service. The rides are not as premium, so to speak. They don't reflect the same kind of service that the customers hope to get from Uber. So people started thinking like, the ride that picked me up today, in fact, they started allowing some kind of, you know, drivers, kind of riders, does not fit well with what they expected. Although like I said, I already stopped using Uber a long time ago, but I don't know, both seem like my kind of people, from even from their from their logo to their brand personality, just feel like
Yeah.
easygoing people, not exactly um premium of the elite, just easily relatable people,
Something for
you
the
might kind
everyday
of,
guy, right?
they appeal to you.
Oh, okay. So the reason why I had,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the reason why I had to ask is, can we both agree that, okay, when you say you prefer boat and you made mention of all this thing, like boat is a brand that is for the everyday guy, the price is friendly and all that. That is the position of boat in your mind, right?
yeah, yeah.
That is in line with what we want to talk about, brand positioning. Because I'm trying to make it easier for anyone out there, like any business owner, any marketer, like anybody to basically
Be able to
understand what
relate
brand
to it. Yeah,
positioning is all about. So this is where I'm going to throw the question to you right now. In light of the
yeah.
whole illustration of Bolt versus Uber we just did, we don't try to start any brand war, although there are already brand wars, but we don't encourage brand wars here. So we're just going to throw the question to you, like,
Yeah, yeah.
what is brand positioning? Like, in your opinion, what is brand positioning and what should a business owner understand about brand positioning?
Okay. Brand positioning, from the word position, is how you position yourself in the minds of the customer. It's the should I say it's the mental space that your brand occupies in the minds of the customer. Because the thing is, as human beings, naturally, without doing it consciously, we categorize things in our heads, right? We
Okay.
organize items, we organize needs in our head, and we organize solution for those in our head. For example, it's just like, okay, in the case of Uber and and Taxify. For me, Uber Taxify appeals to me, yes. But if, for example, now Uber positioning themselves as a premium brand, if I wanted to say I was going out with my date, for example, and I wanted a more, premium feel, right?
Yeah.
In my mind, Uber is the brand that is positioned for that, right? They are the ones who I believe can deliver on that promise, the ones that can deliver on that service, because that is the perception they have given me. So brand positioning is basically the space that a brand occupies in the mind of their customers when they need something, when they need a particular service, when they think of that category of the service, it's that brand that comes to mind. It's a place in their mind that brand occupies, basically.
So brand positioning is the space a brand occupies in the mind of a customer, is the space your brand occupies or the position your brand has in the mind of your customers. It can be a negative place, it can be a very favorable place depending on how the customer or people perceive your brand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So now, why is this important as to me as a business owner, or if I intend to build a brand, if I intend to start up a business, why should I bother about this brand positioning? Why should I bother about where my brand is positioned or placed in the mind of people or my potential customers?
Yeah. So coming from the previous um the previous session we had, was amazing with brand strategy. I listened to that. Even I learned a lot. Brand positioning is actually at the heart of the brand strategy. So, if one were following, the series and learning about branding, with Jafar, and then brand strategy, brand positioning is actually at the heart of the brand strategy, because it's a way you implement your strategy. So I haven't learned that much from your strategy. Your brand positioning is important to your customers, because it's really that aspect of your strategy that connects directly to your customers, right? Because you understand that from what our listeners must have been learning from these sessions, is that branding is more a matter of emotions than about facts.
True.
It's about the emotional connections that customers have to your brand, right? So, and it's just like how I described my experience with that, right? It's the emotional connection I have with them. It's that brand perception that they've created, for them that I can, if I need a ride, I would choose them over Uber. Now, like I said before, human beings naturally organize things in their head. They position things in their head, they categorize things. And here's how I like to think about it. Even with your friends, for example, there are some of your friends that when you want to gist with, when you want to bant about, taking a cue from your conversation with animal, being a football fan, right? There are some friends that if you want to bant, like maybe after a match between Chelsea and Arsenal, you know who to call, and you will have a great time banting about, this person that not already, you know who to have
Definitely.
that conversation with, you know,
Yeah.
right? And if you just talk to them, maybe they'll just get angry and play off. And they are good friends, but they will not take kindly to your bank. They are not in business for it, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that is the kind of thing that they are. Exactly. So that's what bank positioning hospitals. And whether we like it or not, it's customers that actually do that position, right? It's customers that, whether you do it actively or not, customers would place you in a certain place in their mind. But that's where branding comes into place, where you have the part to play as a business to shape their perceptions about you. So that when it comes to a certain service or a need, you are amongst the first few brands that they think of. Just as after a match, there are just a couple of names in your head that you immediately think to call, as you know that they're going to enjoy, fancy. So brand positioning is important in that aspect, such that it gives the brand a leverage in the minds of the customers that when it comes to that need or that market, they are the first brands that customers think of. That's what brand positioning does, and it positions the business to be very profitable because whenever that need comes up, you are the go-to brand. You are the brand that you think of.
I love the thing you said about, the customer will place you anywhere in their mind, like regardless of whether you're intentional about it or not. It's just like branding. Whether you want to be intentionally brand or not, the customer is going to place you somewhere. So if people
Exactly.
or your customers are going to place you somewhere regardless, why don't you be intentional about it? And a point you've already made the whole illustration now. If I'm going out, maybe I'm going on a date, I want the whole premium feel. I book Uber because I want to feel that I want to have that premium feel. But if I'm just going out to hang out with the guys or just catch maybe go to work or something, I want to feel like an everyday guy. There's nothing premium about that.
Yeah.
I'll just go through my boat and then
Yeah.
you we have to, as brands, we have to be intentional about how we want to be perceived and where we want. Now, if someone think about, okay, I need water, we want the first thing that comes to the person's mind to be our brand in case when you need water, what sort of water? I don't want to advertise anything, but you can think of brand A, brand B, brand C, and all so on and so forth. So yeah, I agree with that. That brand position is very, very important, and it's something that Yeah, I almost missed this one, but thank God I just remember. Like it's vital. Brand strategy. There's no brand strategy without brand positioning because if you don't have that brand positioning sorted out, you cannot develop a brand strategy. You cannot develop a brand strategy. Now, having said this about if I don't have a brand positioning, I can't have a brand strategy. Are there some strategies? Are there some brand positioning strategies, like one or two you can share with us here, like so that a business owner can just run with it, one or two brand positioning strategies any business owner can run with.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to use two examples that I recently shared with my right in a small community of my WhatsApp status recently. That's between Hope and Capital. Now, one of those positionings, based on what we've talked about,
Yeah.
is one of those positions was active. That is, they brand themselves, they put effort into that. And the other one was a little passive, so to speak, right? So I'll explain. Now, Coke, Coke came up with this, or should I say they have this position in the said open happiness, yes. And then sometime when was that? About more than 5 years ago, when they came up with this marketing strategy that says share happiness,
Okay.
right? So they had already rooted their position in happiness. The emotional benefit they were selling, or should I say what they were selling was the emotion of happiness and not the product, right? So they were selling this emotion and they were positioned as a brand that was selling happiness. And one of the tagline for their marketing campaign was open happiness. Then they came up with this marketing campaign, or should I say marketing strategy that said share happiness. And that's one of the things that positioning does. When you have a well thought out positioning statement, it's very instrumental to how you market. It's a foundation, for your marketing strategy that
Yeah.
that tries to reach the benefit of your positioning in your customer's mind, right? So you can leverage on, that space, that real estate that you've occupied in your customers' mind through your marketing strategy, because you know where you like you can devise marketing strategies to leverage that. So Coke came up with this marketing campaign, or try the marketing strategy to share happiness, and then they put people's names, on bottles, and immediately, customers could connect with that happiness even more. Whether it was you finding your own name on a bottle and feeling like, oh, Coke thought of me, and they are sharing this Coke with me. And then there was even the social part of it where you could look for your friend's name and share that happiness with them, right?
Yeah.
You could find you would actively look for the Coke bottle with the name of your friend on it, and say, I'm sharing this Coke with my friend Toby or family, So that really helped folks to leverage on the positioning they already had, that they were selling happiness, right? So coming up with that marketing strategy help them leverage that. I mean, their sales, even people who have no um, insight into folks, try to their revenue, could it was no news that Coke sold out during that period. It was no news that they probably had the highest sales before that,
Yeah.
because the ROI on that emotional connection is not is is an understatement to say it was big, it was massive, right? So that positioning now, it really helped folks to sell out, and even pricing even stole some of their competition's customers, right?
Exactly.
Because even people that were not really Coke fans, they could connect with, to that emotional benefit of sharing happiness and sharing a Coke, sharing a drink with their friend. So everyone was sold in on it. Now that's for Coke. The other brand I'm going to talk about is Caprice. Now, sometime around I think March, I think a designer came up with a brand, a packaging design for Caprice. I don't know if you saw it. That
No.
it was a pan. It was well designed, and it read shameless. So shameless apple, and there were flavors. It was beautifully designed and it was well done. And for a long time, for a while, many people thought that, it was a real product from Capison. And that really exposed an insight into Capison's customers. Because now, Capison is perceived as a children's drink. Yes?
Yeah.
Capison is perceived as a drink for kids, and many of us when we were younger, they've been in the drink for a very long time.
Yeah.
However, that someone, I'll say that designer is a Capison lover himself, and is one of the few adults, or young adults, who still take Capison. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and he could do something about the way he felt about the brand. Now, Capison wasn't doing this, and this is where we're talking about how customers would, whether you like to position your brand based on how they feel, based on how they have experienced your brand, right? So, based on his own experience, he came up with this design that read shameless. That is, he's unashamed to be taking a children's drink, or should I say, a perceived children's drink. Like the product itself or should I say, the product in itself is great, right? And he has been taking that drink from when he was small, and he can't let it go. So it's like seeing an adult taking Cerelac. There will be some shame, as it were, attached to that. As big as you are.
Yeah.
So it tapped into that emotional, connection and said, look, this is how you probably must have gotten some insights from fellow Capison lovers who are about to age, who are adults. And they all must have been like, hey, we don't get shame. We like this drink. Yes, the student that took it, but we love it. So, when he put that on the packaging, in fact, it went around. A lot of people, it trended on Twitter for a while. People are saying, in fact, Capison, because people thought it was Capison that actually did the package. But it really exposed how their customers felt. Because a lot of people would retweet these images and say, you know what, Capison has sold me on this one. No, they have finally exposed me. I don't care what anybody says. So I love this drink, or I've been taking this drink. Nobody should call me like, I don't get shame. Do you get? So that was already that emotional connection. And so I put this up for my status, and I was gathering people's feedback, and I was surprised as to the many people who were replying and were saying, in fact, like there's no shame, or in fact, Capison, like when people are curious to know if it was a real product that they were going to be soon. You can imagine. And this wasn't something Capison was actively trying to do.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But because there was already an experience with their, with the market, their older customers, it immediately cost them. Now, if Capison had gotten hold of that insight, of that positioning that they had in older customers, in fact, if they would just maybe employ that designer that came up with that project and just work with him to implement, they'll be surprised as to how much of the older market that is really patronizing them, and they'll be able to adequately sell to them. You understand? They'll be able to leverage the emotional connection that this older market already has to the brand. And all they will have to do is just push that shameless. In fact, many people that responded, like that positioning, that word unashamed was what sold it for them, because it accurately captured how they felt. That look, we are not ashamed to be associated with this perceived children's thing. We love it, and we will take it like that. So nobody, someone even replied and said, you can't shame the shameless.
True.
Right?
True.
As I know you get shame. You can't shame me for it. I love the drink, and it is for it. So that's another example. And when I was making this comparison between Capison and Coke, there's no way Capison could have adopted the positioning that Coke did. If they tried to adopt that kind of marketing strategy, it won't yield any result for them, because they weren't leveraging on the positioning that they already had in their customer. What Coke did was to leverage on the positioning that they had in the minds of their customers as a brand that sold happiness, right? And so with their marketing strategy, they leveraged on that and they sold out. If Capison tried to copy that and say, okay, share a drink with this person, some people may buy, but it won't be as authentic, you know. Some people may just buy for the sake of it, but it won't be as authentic as that shameless positioning you get.
Yeah.
If they tap into that shameless positioning, it's something that immediately resonated with their customers and they would immediately sell out. So, but unfortunately, it was much later I got to find out that that packaging design was actually not done by Capison themselves, but the designer who was just coming up with a packaging idea for Capison. So, that's just an example of two different positioning strategies and the rewards that can come out of it.
Like I 100% agree with you on the whole not ashamed positioning, because talking about giving us this illustration, like I remember a colleague of mine that she's married and has two beautiful kids. So whenever she feels like she loves Capricorn, and whenever she comes and she used to tell us how she literally like have war of words with her kids. Whenever they're like, "Mom, you're taking Capricorn and you everything," she's like, who told you that Capricorn is for just kids? In fact, even if Capricorn is for children, I'm also the child of someone. Like, it just shows you, like, exactly. There are still adults out there, like especially in the millennial bracket, that still enjoy Capricorn. And then if Capricorn can just be that, can just have that campaign, have that positioning for the adults, like so many people will be unashamed, just like sharing book will be probably sharing our unashamed stories and all about it. It's well,
exactly.
Capricorn, if you're listening, you still have time, Sha. That's all I can say. You still have time. Okay, now also talking about this brand positioning strategy and all, like two brands also come to my head in terms of this. There are two brands that come to my head. I'm thinking of the one we talked about, Bolt, and then I'm also thinking of Tesla. Now, let me start with Bolt. Now, some people know, some people may not know, but Uber came to Nigeria before Bolt. Uber came to Nigeria before Bolt, right? And I read on the net, I think it was TechNest, the blog called TechNest. So currently, Bolt has a 60% market share of the e-hailing market in Nigeria. 60%. Wow. That is huge. Like that is huge. And with what you illustrated when we started about the whole pricing thing, we realized that one of the positioning of Bolt has always been lower prices, like in terms of something for the everyday guy, like, because you just said something now about Uber position themselves as premium brands, and then people get to realize that a premium brand and your drivers are not taking care of their cars. Like, we don't feel premium anymore. Like, why should I pay such a price? Why should I pay such a price and enjoy like I pay a premium price for a product or a service that is not premium? Now, when Bolt came, it didn't go the premium route. Like, you're gonna get this, and I think of it. I use Bolt here in Abuja. Like, I use them mostly. If I'm not driving, I use Bolt, because to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is that they're cheaper. And I know, of course, I'm not going to get any premium listing. I'm just going to get convenience, like someone to come, pick me up, drop me off. I enjoy air conditioner and all those, like, as against the regular taxis. So they use price as a position. And I got to understand also from interacting with Bolt drivers, and some of them actually work as well for both Bolt and Uber. But you talk to them about, okay, how about the two platforms? They tell you things like Bolt commissions. The Bolt commission is lower compared to Uber's. and then they tell you the whole registration process, that Uber has a lot of updates, a lot of terms and conditions and all that, that makes it harder for drivers and all. So it just both make things easier for everybody, easier for the riders, easier for the drivers and all, and use something affordable, very affordable to you. Like it's very, very close to. In fact, if you ride with some of Bolt drivers, you hear them complain a lot about how the price is close to not like it's like nothing that Bolt is just trying to is just a quote unquote in their own words, making us the customers feel good at their own expense and all. Now, so that is a strategy about using price. Now, talk about Tesla. Tesla is more an innovative strategy, like a unique strategy, because before Tesla, nobody was feeling good about, like, I don't know anybody that feels good about owning or buying an electric car. Like, electric car wasn't in, like, there was no vibe to electric cars before Tesla, you understand? But Tesla came to the game and made through their research, updates, and everything, and keeping us updated on and made electric cars feel good. And then everybody right now we're trying to protect the planet and all. And all of a sudden, people are even there are some countries that are making laws that in the next 20 years or so, they're going to take out every fossil fuel, every fuel car, and then replace it with electric cars and all. These are things that the illustration you did with Coke, the one you did with Capri Sun. These are the things that we should put, like we should have at the back of our minds as business people, as business owners, marketers, and all, when it comes to coming up with brand positioning strategies that we want to use. Now, it brings me to one. It brings me to the to one. I won't say last, but it brings me to this very, very important keynote, which is brand positioning statement. Like every brand has a brand positioning statement.
Okay.
It's from this brand positioning statement that things like your tagline is being built. This brand positioning statement, just like you said, that you get to understand better what your company or your brand is all about, and it helps you develop a brand strategy. So, what is a brand positioning statement?
Okay. A brand positioning statement is a statement that brings clarity, right? The statement that brings clarity as to where you want to occupy, right, in your customer's mind, how you want to position yourself in the market, right? So, from the book, a simple way to look at brand positioning statement. It comprises of 4 elements. It comprises of your target audience, right?
Yeah.
Your target audience, the market in which you're operating, that is like from what industry are you operating from as a brand? Are you representing the fashion industry? Are you operating manufacturing or cars, mobile devices, or electronics, that sort of thing? Then your brand promise, which is like the emotional benefit, right? That you want to sell to the customers. So it's a compelling emotional benefit, not only emotional but also irrational, right? Because the emotion you want to sell must also be rooted in something that is actually achievable, right? Like you have to have a product that actually works, right? And you also have good features that serve the customer needs. So your brand promise, which is the emotional benefit you're selling, as well as the benefits of the product itself that you're selling to the customers, and then what they call a reason to believe. And this reason to believe is the way you tell the customers how you are able to deliver on this brand promise, right? Is how what you are doing or what you are offering for service that makes your brand promise, realistic. You understand? So, the way to frame it now. So to frame a brand positioning statement is to say, okay, for the target audience you're targeting. So for these so people, right? We as a brand, so like put your company in, we as a brand, we do this. So we talk about the markets we are operating from, right? We do this. We are so for this target audience, we, the company name, in this social industry, we deliver on this brand promise, right? And how we do that? Because and thing, about how we deliver. So let me see. I'm trying to come up with. Let me try and come up with one out of the blue. Okay, let's even try an exercise. Let's maybe give me a fictional company. Let's see what we can just come up.
A fictional company, right? Okay, well, maybe we'll use a Purple.
Okay, couple. So
Yeah.
couple is what industry are they in? What kind of
Purple is an online retailing company, something like Jumia or stuff. So I'll just
Okay.
you can buy
All
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say Purple, they're an online retail store and they're targeting customers who they're targeting customers who want to resell,
Okay.
right? Let's say they're targeting customers who also want to sell to so they are selling wholesale. So it's an online store for wholesale products, right? So they are targeting customers who also want to sell to other people. Now, how do they do this? They are going to have very competitive prices. So say okay, now I'm in Ibadan, but say in Ibadan there's somewhere we call there's this market where to get most of their wholesale prices that they bring from Lagos or wherever that market people go to go and buy in bulk. So the way they are going to deliver on so let's say their brand promise is to deliver quality, access to quality products in large numbers for competitive prices, right? Because
Yeah.
one thing that people want to resell, one thing they are aiming at is what's the profit margin, right? What profit margin can they add to their products for them to be able to remain profitable as a business? So if they buy something wholesale, how much will they be able to add to it? That doesn't make the product now too expensive for them to also sell, and they also make a reasonable profit. So their brand promise is to to give access or to let's say to give access to a wide range of products of great quality and competitive price, right? And how they are going to do this is they themselves just they source for the product, they make the process easy to access, they make the delivery seamless, right? So now the reason to believe them now is how they are how they have a very smooth delivery system to deliver those goods, and they have, say, a very seamless payment structure
Okay.
and maybe even payment plans too, right? So I'm just thinking about this. So maybe there's a payment plan you can buy in bulk and maybe you can pay over the next few months. So maybe you really want to take hold of a new market, and before it goes out of stock or before it becomes expensive, you can buy a lot, spread the payment. So Purple, so for online, let's say for online wholesale marketing, Purple is an online retail, it's an online e-commerce store that offers wide range of quality wholesale products at competitive prices through seamless delivery. What else did you mention? Attractive payment plans,
Okay.
and the likes of like. So that's a brand positioning statement that already clarifies the people you are targeting. And now from the brand promise, you can see that one position they really want to buy is competitive price,
Yeah.
right? that they want their customers to know that look, if they are looking for just to buy wholesale and and get it at very fair prices, we are the guys. And we also have a wide range of products. There's almost no product that you're looking for that you won't find. So that's just a very like a rough example. I decided to do this so that it does not look hard. It does not look hard to anyone. All you have to do now
like
verify who you are targeting.
yeah, I love the illustration
Verify who
makes
you
it
are
very.
targeting. Oh,
The illustration makes
sorry,
it
go on.
quite, yeah, the illustration makes it quite simplified. That's what I love about it because, I'm trying to see, okay, how can we simplify these? I try as much as possible to simplify these so you don't feel like, oh, it's too brand identity experts talking and then speaking all these brand identity jargon. It doesn't require any sort of genius or guru. Like, of course, there's a lot of thinking that goes towards it. But at the base of everything, it's quite simple. Just like what you said, there are four questions a brand positioning statement must answer. One is who is our target customer or our target audience. The second thing is what product or service are we delivering or selling. The third is what benefit or what value is this, what is the benefit of our product and service. And the final, which is the fourth, is the proof of it. Like, what is the proof of this benefit? And you better illustrated it because now, who is the target audience for Purple? It's obvious the target audience are retail sellers. It's that's very, very obvious. And now, what is the product? The product is wholesale, every wholesale goods. That is the product. Now, what is the benefit? What is the benefit? That is it. The benefit is that you get access to wholesale foods on like wholesale goods online. Now, as against like going to any market, any physical market, you can actually come online and get access to these. And then what is the proof that you can actually do this? That is, of course, it's online. You go there, like once you go there, you see all these goods. Like I really, really like the way you've broken it down with Purple, and well, it just shows why we decided to bring you here. And we always like to look for the best and someone that will help us understand this because we want every businessman or woman out there to understand this for themselves. Here in Brand Talk, we try to educate business or entrepreneurs to understand what their graphic designers, their brand agency guys, what they are doing, so that when they're having this discussion, they're coming from a place of experience, like a little bit experience. You have a basic understanding of what these guys are bringing for you and all. So yeah, having discussed what brand position statement is, and of course you've illustrated it. I don't know, like, is there something you want to add more of like a final word you want to add for a business owner out there or a marketer out there, like any word in terms of brand positioning?
Okay. I think what I'll say is it's something I said earlier, that if people who actually do the positioning, it's your customer. So a lot of work really has to go into understanding your customer, because at the end of the day, even the whole exercise of or the process, the end product, so to speak, it's like what I think Jafan also mentioned. Your brand is what your customers say, not what you say. So a lot of focus at the end of the day comes to understanding who your customers are, what their needs are. So don't try to build a brand and try to assume for your customers what. Or yes, I think Jafar mentioned this. You can't assume for your customers, but you yourself start with having a connection with this customer, know who they are, know what they are, and try to also anticipate their needs, right? Try to anticipate their needs. And, from there, everything begins to fall into place. Once you know who they are, you know what they need, you create, the brand that connects with them, and apply everything else that we've learned so far. You can only get good.
Oh, thank you very much. So you've heard it, guys. Like, do not assume. Like we've said it from day one. Assumption is the killer of you. Assumption is the killer of you. Get to understand your customers. Don't assume. Understand them, hear them, get feedback from them, because you're building a brand for them, not for you
Yeah.
as the brand. And then when it comes to brand positioning, ensure that you're intentional about, occupying a space, a special space. You can do what Coke did. Coca-Cola, sorry, you can do what Coca-Cola did. You can become the first. You can decide to be the first person to invent, like, because Coca-Cola was the first to enter into cola. So you can be the
Yeah.
first. You can position yourself as a leader. You can use price. You can use emotions. You can use anything, value, like anything to just be in their mind. That's the most important thing. Well, thank you very much, George. And it was a pleasure having you here, and I know we'll have you back someday soon. All right.
My pleasure was all mine. It was really enjoyable. I enjoyed my time. Thank
Oh, thank you, thank you very much. So, guys, please keep branding and stop BSing. Peace.